Morning, everyone. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates. Coming to you from the car, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We are sitting in our car because my wife has had a dental appointment, and I wanted to get this information out to you folks so you guys would know what's going on. I'm sorry I was not able to get on the air last night. I tried, I don't know how many times, for about 2 hours to get on the air last night, and I couldn't do it for whatever reason. They wouldn't let me on the air. But anyway, to make a long story short, we're here now. I want to let you know what's going on. Yesterday, we had what amounts to 3 solar flares. The first was a X-class 6.8. An X-class 6.8. I'm sorry, not a 6.8, 8.6. An X-class 8.6 solar flare. CME, a coronal mass ejection, meaning the plasma radiation was ejected from the sun from a sunspot. That same sunspot was on the southwestern terminator, or the edge of the solar disk as we saw it, looking at the sun from the SOHO, the Solar Observatory satellite that's about 2 million miles away from the sun. We saw that happen. It was a spectacular event, to say the very least. It was spectacular. It was huge. About a moment later, literally, and I want to show you what it was like. Say the solar eclipse or solar flare that we had was at the beginning of my finger down here. Up on the other side of the sun, looking like this. Okay? Another solar flare hit. That was also an X-class 8.6 solar flare. Now, that was Earth facing. That solar flare was Earth facing. The first solar flare was not. Okay? It was on the terminator, the edge, literally the edge of the sun. That solar flare went out from the sun like this, completely away. Now, the only way that the Earth could possibly have that solar flare could possibly have any effect on the Earth was the wideness of the flare. As it spread out from the sun, the Earth may have taken a sideways hit, a glance blow from that solar flare. If that had been Earth facing directly, we may have had some problems. It would not have been a grid down event. We've had quite a few of these large X-class flares that were not grid down events. I want to make that perfectly clear. This was not and will not be a grid down event. We don't know what it's going to take to have a grid down event. We don't know what it's going to take to have a grid down event. I want to make that perfectly clear too. Scientists think they know. Scientists think they know. But quite honestly, guys, nobody knows until it happens. Nobody knows until it happens. We don't know. But that wasn't the only thing that happened yesterday. 2 X-class 8.6 flares. One on the southwestern terminator, and the other one over on the east side facing, or Earth facing on the sun. The next thing that happened was about 3 or 4 minutes later. Over on the northern side, upper side, Earth facing, of the sun, we had another event. It was a halo event. Okay, it was a filament. The filament went like this. You could actually see it going out from the sun like this. It appeared, and I don't have any scientific evidence to say otherwise, but this filament went out like this and may have come down like solar rain. It may have come down onto the sun like solar rain. But it was another event. Now, with all three of these events from yesterday alone, the scientists said last night, as of about 6 p.m. last night, the Earth was facing a G4/G5 geomagnetic storm. A G4/G5 magnetic storm. Now, while this is not, again, affecting our grid, it is also causing havoc with our satellites, our radio and television communications, air-to-ground, aircraft to control tower communications, and not just that, but communications between NASA and Roscosmos in Russia with a space station, and communications with all the satellites, both military and civilian satellites. This, folks, is concerning. This is concerning because this continues to happen. I'm just putting this out here. Okay, again, there's been no scientists confirming what I'm going to tell you. We have had about 15 X-class flares, very strong X-class flares within the last 5 days. 5 to 6 days, actually. How much more damage from these solar flares can these satellites take? It's unknown. Some of these solar flares in the past have knocked satellites out of orbit, and the satellites have splashed down in the ocean without hitting land. We got lucky. We got very lucky. All I'm saying is everyone is looking for what might happen now. It's a coin toss. It's literally a coin toss. Are we going to get more of these X-class flares? It is likely. Like I said a little while ago, we have had quite a few of them already, and I don't believe they're going to stop anytime soon. Now, that one yesterday may have been kicked off by the other X-class flare on the southwestern terminator, the edge of the solar disk, as we look at it. Okay? It may have been kicked off by that. We don't know. We don't have any experience with this. This was brand new. This was literally brand new. So what we're looking at is keeping an eye on what is going on the sun. We also know from past experiences that we've had since I've come on the air 5.5 years ago almost. Okay? Actually, it's not that. It's 5 years and 2 months since I first came on the air. And nobody talked about this before that. Nobody really knew. But, like I've said before, these solar flares come over from the sun The plasma radiation goes through our magnetosphere. The magnetosphere is weak. Okay? Up until about a year ago, the magnetosphere was very weak because we had been in a solar minimum. Solar minimums is when there are very few solar flares. And I don't understand the mechanics of this, but when there's not enough solar flares, it makes our magnetosphere weak. Hopefully, our magnetosphere is strengthening, meaning the plasma radiation has to go through our magnetosphere. Hopefully, the magnetosphere is strengthening and helping filter some of that plasma radiation before it goes through our atmosphere onto the Earth's surface and heating up the tectonic plates and heating up the core of the Earth. I'm just saying. Hopefully, our magnetosphere is helping shield us more than it has been. Now, with the heating up of the plates, as I have explained this before, the plates heat up, and each plate is at another plate. Each plate around this Earth is touching another plate. When those plates heat up, all the gunk and grime, all the biological material, all the rock or sand or gravel, or like I said, the dead biological material that's holding those plates in place, when those solar flares hit, it heats up the tectonic plates and it turns all that gunk and grime and stuff into an oily, greasy-like substance, allowing the plates to move more freely, causing earthquakes. Tectonic plate movement causing earthquakes. Now, I fully expected, with all of these solar events that we've had during the past week, I fully expected to see more earthquakes hitting, more substantial seismic energy hitting the Earth because of the plates heating up. We did not see a substantial number of seismic events. We did not even see a substantial increase in seismic magnitude, meaning going from a 5.0 earthquakes like we've had during the past 2 to 3 weeks, 5.0 to 5.6, 5.8 earthquakes. All we went to was a 6.0. The largest earthquake to hit in the past week was a 6.0, 6.1 very strong earthquake. That was it. I fully expected to have very strong 6.0, 6.9 or larger earthquakes, possibly even a major 7.0 or larger earthquake. That's what I expected. Well, that did not happen. It is still possible that it could happen. All I want to say right now is everyone needs to stay prepared. Everyone needs to stay prepared for whatever happens, whether it is an earthquake or other kind of event. And we've talked about this before. I spent significant time on Friday and Monday this week explaining in detail about emergency preparedness. And we're going to continue to process that. We're going to continue to talk about it. All I'm saying, folks, you need to stay prepared. Now, with that said, there's something else that I need to talk about. Folks, I do not want to get anybody in trouble. I don't want to see the government harass you. I don't want to see the government harassing me. What I'm leading this to is the government is monitoring everything we're saying. Unfortunately, I am a pretty popular YouTube influencer. We have nearly 5,000 subscribers on our channel now. I'm hoping before the end of May to have 5,000 subscribers. This is not for me. This is for the growth of the channel, to get our message out to the masses, to make sure everyone is informed about what's going on, and that we make sure that everyone stays prepared. This is the biggest worry that I have, is that we are not hitting or getting enough people paying attention to what we're saying. I fear because of that, more and more people are going to either die or be injured because they are not aware of what's going on around them, because nobody is talking about it. Literally, nobody is talking about it. That's my biggest fear. There are prepping channels. They're here on YouTube and other places. Now, while some of them are extraordinary channels because they tend to falsify data, they go to the extremes. I don't go to the extremes. I tell it like it is. But I still want to grow this channel. Not for me, but for everyone else. For everybody's safety. The other thing I believe is that the government is monitoring our channel. I am no longer going to tell the government what I have in terms of preparedness. And I don't want you to tell the government what you are doing. I am hoping that you are all following our advice that we put out to the public on our channel. I'm hoping. That way people are prepared and people's lives will be saved as a result of what we're doing here on Emergency Management Associates. But the government is watching us. Now, given that, we all know the three-letter agencies. We all know it. It's pounded into our heads. The mainstream media talks about it occasionally, but even the mainstream media is not being told the truth. Rarely, if ever, does the mainstream media tell us the truth at all. They exaggerate and throw things out there where it makes it seem like the world's falling apart. Yes, we are having our problems. Our Earth is having its problems. But we have these politicians in positions throughout this world that try to make things worse. And they want to do that. They want to make sure that we are scared. That way they have control. As long as they have control, they think everything's going to be fine. Now, while I'm not going to tell you to openly rebel against these people, these elites, you need to stay prepared. You need to stay prepared and prepared to protect yourselves. Stay prepared to protect yourselves. This is absolutely mandatory, unless you want them to completely take you down. I'm concerned about that. I'm very concerned. Like I said, I don't want to see anybody hurt. Though that's my biggest concern. But I also want to make sure we get the message out that everyone needs to prepare. It's mandatory. It's literally mandatory. We must get that message out, and we must share this message far and wide. Now, while I'm not telling you to openly rebel, you must do the things necessary to protect yourselves. And I know that the mainstream media is watching this channel as well. The three-letter agencies of the government are also monitoring what we're saying. They've been monitoring this channel for a very long time. Before my last channel was taken down, I had 95 agencies or companies or individuals in high places monitoring this channel. I'm sure they're doing the same. I haven't looked lately as to who was seeing and who was not seeing what we're doing on this channel. But we're becoming more and more effective. The more people we have as subscribers, the greater effort we have in reaching the masses, reaching the public. I am going to continue to teach people to be prepared for whatever happens. It doesn't matter whether it is an earthquake. It doesn't matter necessarily whether it's a major solar event where it might be a grid down situation. And if that is the case, guess what? Probably 85% of the world will die within the first 6 months of a grid down event. And you might ask why. Why would that be happening? Because all of a sudden, we would not have the capability to harvest our food like we have during the past 20 to 50 years. The equipment we have on the ground at our farms and ranches is dependent on the ability for that equipment to operate. In a grid down situation, it would make that equipment obsolete. It would destroy the capability that we have to exist. The people that would not be prepared would not handle themselves or be able to contribute to themselves, their families, or society. They would not know how to act. That is, again, one of my biggest fears. We must stay prepared. Well, first, we must be prepared, and then we must stay prepared. The more prepared we are, the greater chance we have of existing and staying vibrant in our lives, staying in charge of our families. A grid down event would mean any car built after 1975 would probably no longer function. If that car, vehicle, or whatever it is computer run or has anything to do with computers, that vehicle, whatever it might be, would have its ability to run destroyed. We would not be able to travel as we do now. And the government is even limiting that. Why do you think that Mr. Biden wants all of us to have an electric vehicle by 2035? Why do you think Governor Newsom in California wants all trucks and vehicles in California to be electric, to be powered by electricity by 2035? Governor Newsom does not want to see any at all gasoline-powered vehicles by 2035. He said that. Now, while you may not have known or heard what Governor Newsom has done during the past 48 hours, Governor Newsom is also, it's incredible, he's raised the price of fuel by 50 cents a gallon. Governor Newsom has raised the price of fuel by 50 cents a gallon, trying to make it appear that he is doing whatever he can do to limit carbon-based emissions. He's trying to make that point. But what he's doing, he's also making it impossible for a lot of people to travel, a lot of people to do much of anything because of his imposing rules or regulations. That's what he's doing. That's what we're going to see overall throughout the United States and around the world. Our leaders don't want us to travel. That is one of the reasons they want us to have electric vehicles. An e-vehicle can only travel about 200 or 250 miles at a whack before they have to stop and recharge. And it takes a time period to recharge those vehicles, meaning you're not going to go much more than 200, 250 miles at a whack, and you're going to have to stop for a long period of time. Gasoline-powered vehicles, internal combustion engines, can travel probably close to 300 to 400 miles at a whack before they have to stop and refuel. Refueling takes maybe 10 minutes compared to hours it takes to recharge a electric vehicle. That's what I'm talking about. They don't want us to travel. They want to limit our movement. That's all part of this greater plan. That's why I've been harping on preparedness. They don't want us to move. They don't want us to have the ability to go anywhere, to do anything. Why do you think the Chinese and other governments around the world have purchased up property here in the United States? They have already taken over a great majority of farmland here in this country. And as a result of that, the amount of food that the United States can produce has been very much limited in the last 4 years. It's only going to get worse. Not only are we going to be limited on the amount of food that we have, but in the past, the United States was a breadbasket to the entire world. We were exporting a great part of our food that we produce here in the United States. We were exporting it to a greater portion of the world. With our capabilities being limited by these elites in control, the whole world is going to be affected. Our ability to live as we have is going to be limited, very much limited. Now, with that said, be prepared. You need to understand what's going on. You need to keep an eye on Emergency Management Associates. You need to keep an eye on what's going on around you. Be situationally aware of everything around you, politically, civilly, and also in your own home and your neighborhood. Watch what you're doing. Be prepared and protect yourselves and your family. Associate yourself with like-minded people. Do not advertise everything that you're doing. Don't advertise it. Because when it comes right down to it, anybody that watches what you're doing is going to know what you have. And if the crap hits the fan, which it's going to, you might be targeted. if it's not going to be the government knocking on your door to take what you have away from you. And that's a great possibility, because the government does not want you to have what you have. They will also want to limit what you have. So we have to be very careful with what we're seeing, what we're saying, and what we're doing, and how we do it. But Joe Blow the Ragman could also knock on your door and try to force your door open and take what you have. Again, you must be able to protect what you have. You must do whatever you can to protect what you have. Do not put your own lives in danger. Whatever you do, do not put your own lives in danger. Protect yourselves. Be wise. Be wise. Be smart. Be situationally aware. Now, I will be coming back on the air later this evening. Okay? Right now, it is about, I don't even have my watch working. It's not working right now. That's okay. I will be back on the air in about 6 hours with a full report of what happened yesterday and this week, and give you an update on what you need to be doing. We'll be talking somewhat about earthquakes and other events that are happening. I haven't taken my eye off the ball at all, but I'm going to give you an update about what's going on. Please, folks, please, if you think what we're talking about today has any efficacy or truth in it, please give us a thumbs up. Please also make sure you're subscribed to this channel. YouTube keeps unsubscribing people. They've been doing that for a long time. They're doing it to a lot of YouTube influencers. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel. If you're not, resubscribe. 29% of the people that watch this channel are not subscribed. Please subscribe to this channel. When you do, make sure right next to that subscription button, there is a little bell icon. Click on that bell icon. When you click on that bell icon, there'll be a drop-down menu of 3 items. Click on the word ALL, all. That will get you notified when we come on the air. Be advised, YouTube does not notify everybody. Sometimes they purposely don't notify people. Be advised, during the week we usually come on the air between 6 and 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You can figure that out in your own time zones. But it's very important that you watch this channel. It's very important that you also share our message. Share our message, because you need to help spread the word about what we're doing here and why. Talk to your friends, your neighbors, your family, your extended family, all your cousins and aunts and uncles, your kids, wherever they might be around the world. Talk to your friends and social media contacts, and even the people you work with. I believe what we're doing here is very important, and I would hope that you would as well. Again, please spread this message far and wide. I'm sorry I was not able to get on the air last night for whatever reason, plus I was not feeling well at all. I had some medical things going on. My body was not reacting like it normally has. Yes, I could use some prayers as well. If you have any questions about what's going on with the sun, tune in to Wages World. Mark Wages. His last 3 programs will explain what I've explained here in just a few minutes. Tune in to Wages World. He has a complete update about what's going on. Also, and I feel this way, I think a lot of people do, that you feel uptight. With all the political pressure going on around you, you need to have a release. Go over to Mark Pires. He's here on YouTube. Mark Inspires is his channel. He's now been on the air 1,962 days in a row, playing music and also being a comedian. Mark Wages is an actor and a comedian and also a musician. You can get a lot of activity out of Mark Pires. He will make you feel good. His music is inspiring a lot of times. His comedy is excellent. And sometimes he pokes fun at the politicians. And sometimes that's a blast. Anyway, guys, I'm going to let you go now. I hope you have a good day. Please tune in to our channel this evening, sometime after 6 p.m. Eastern Time this evening, and I will have a recap of everything we talked about today. We'll be talking more about preparedness. We're going to be talking more about earthquakes. I'm also going to give you a forecast for hurricanes. Both the National Weather Service and one of my friends, Hurricane Heather, has also put out a hurricane forecast for this summer. I think everybody should know what's going on. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we will see you at the end of this day. God bless you. God be with you until we meet again. We will see you on the other side. Have a wonderful day, guys. Bye-bye.